you're here to find some underappreciated shows or maybe hear me praise a few old favorites, you've come to the right place. This is Restless in Peace, and today we're spotlighting Tokyo Godfathers. I'm Fennec, and I've been an anime fan for almost a decade and have watched hundreds of shows. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with friends, and if you haven't seen Tokyo Godfathers, spoilers ahead. Tokyo Godfathers is about a group of 3 homeless people: Miyuki, a runaway 16-year-old girl; Hana, a trans woman; and Gin, an alcoholic. They find a baby in the trash. They name the baby Kyoko, and Hana decides they have to find her parents. So the hunt begins, while along the way they have to confront all kinds of things that happened in their past that they've thought they've left behind. And while doing this, they still need to care for a newborn baby. The movie had a pretty heartwarming ending, so I can't say I'm still furious, but I'm definitely angry. Mostly, but not only, at Hana. Hana is so selfish. She calls whoever abandoned the baby devils, but she's not all that better herself. Instead of giving the baby over to the police, where she would have been taken care of, Hana decides they need to find the parents themselves. And it's not like they just didn't think of taking her to the police somehow. Gin recommended they do exactly that almost immediately after finding the baby. Hana, selfish as she is, refused to take the baby to the police. Her reasoning for this decision was based on the utterly false notion that the police would simply return the baby to someone who literally threw said baby in the trash. If she would have taken another second to think about it, she would have realized that that line of thinking makes no sense whatsoever. Personally, I think that she purposefully ignored this fact due to her own selfishness and desire for a child. She wants the experience of motherhood and knows that, considering her circumstances, that's impossible. Still, she pursues this dream of hers at the expense of a newborn baby. I'm no expert, but I'm guessing that it's not very healthy for a newborn to travel for days in the cold and snow and sleep in suboptimal conditions. I'd get sick from something like that, and we're talking about a baby that's only a few weeks old. Throughout the movie, Gin and Miyuki tell Hana multiple times that the best course of action would be to take the baby, to take Kyoko to the police, and yet she refuses. Gin and Miyuki are also partially to blame. After all, at no point in the movie did they genuinely try to get Kyoko to the police. All they did was try to half-heartedly convince Hana, while most of the time they straight up played along with her. But what really pissed me off about Hana's selfishness, was the scene on the bridge near the end of the movie where she decides it's time to finally give Kyoko to the police. Now, this decision isn't what pissed me off. After all, if she finally agreed to give the baby to the police, at least that's something. What pissed me off is that when she was asked why now go to the police, she says that she was ego-tripping and that she wants to personally apologize to the family. You know, that she previously called these people devils, and that at this point in the movie, she still has no idea who are Kyoko's parents, and all the things that she has managed to learn about their character up to this point in the film should make her judge them more, not less. And I'm talking about serious stuff here. Things like gambling addictions and the mother physically abusing her husband. So I say that her wanting to apologize to the parents directly is another example of her selfishness. She wants to make herself feel better about all the trouble she's caused, and in order to do that, she is even willing to give the baby back to a home that at this point in time can't be seen as anything but unfit. Now, after I've ranted for a bit about how selfish Hana is, I want to talk about a scene where you could very easily mistake Hana Hannah for being selfish. And I'm talking about none other than the hospital scene. In this scene, Gin reunites with his daughter who he hasn't seen in many years. As Gin's conversation with his daughter progresses, she asks him a couple of questions along the line of where do you work, and stuff like that. He lies to her. He doesn't tell her that he's homeless and a bum, probably because he's ashamed. And then Hannah barges into the conversation she wasn't a part of and told Gin's daughter not only the truth about him being a homeless bum, but also about him lying to Hannah and Miyuki about his daughter actually being dead, a lie that garnered him some sympathy and was probably told because he had a hard time dealing with the truth. On the one hand, if someone did this to me, I'd probably be pissed. But on the other hand, Gin isn't. Yeah, he's mad for a moment, but that's it. This doesn't really damage his and Hannah's friendship in the long term. Because of this, I think that Hannah wasn't actually being selfish in this scene, but in fact was being a good friend by giving Gin the push he needed. So an action that would usually be a step over the line, in this case is an act of friendship. Although I do still think that Hannah ruined the personal growth that Gin could have experienced from eventually coming clean of his own accord. Finally, I do recommend you watch this movie if you haven't, and please notify me through the comment section if you're on YouTube, or through my website if you're from one of the podcast platforms. You can access the website in the show notes below. Tell me what you think about the episode. Did you like it, and would you like to hear more episodes like it? Or you can just comment whatever you want. Please like and subscribe, share with friends, it helps a lot, and I greatly appreciate it.